Guys, Deluded Goon, a slightly different angle, I know. If you like it, let me know. If not, yeah, just thought I'd try something else out. Alexis Sanchez, now he's been given an extended holiday or break, as you could better yet put it, along with Mustafi, Holding, Chambers, and everyone else that had international commitments. He's on holiday. I think he's in Chile. Typically, we know Alexis is a man of his people. He likes to give back to the disadvantaged and ordinary people, particularly kids. So that's what he's been doing in Chile. Now, I don't know if it was a fundraiser, a press conference, or whatever event it was, but he was pressed about his future. Of course, I mean, year left, he's in his homeland. They worship him like a god there. They want to know what he wants to do. To which he replied, I've made a decision, but now the decision is with Arsenal. And then he said, it depends on them. My idea is to play and win the Champions League, a dream since a kid. For now, I'm at Arsenal FC, and my contract finishes in 1 year's time. Now, that's very ambiguous comments. Firstly, in regards to the Champions League, we know that's a big reason of why he joined. He said he wants to play and win trophies in the Champions League, and he even echoed that last season when he said that he wanted to get to the semi-finals and play for a team that's going to get to the semi-finals. He's spoken about being frustrated when we should be killing games 4 or 5-0 and things of that nature. Somewhat these quotes feel ambiguous because, firstly, we could take it at face value, which it probably is. I've made a decision, and now the decision is with Arsenal. I mean, you could come out and say you want to leave. You could come out and not say you want to leave. That somewhat, on the one hand, is face value. We know his contract. The contracts typically it's a tactic and it's negotiations and things like that. He holds all the aces, like I've told you. 28, 29 in December. Arguably one of the best players in the world. Walks into arguably every side in the world, bar a couple. He holds all the cases from a business point of view. I mean, aces. Sorry, from a business point of view. Like I was saying, it's suicide, and he knows that. So, putting the ball firmly in the Arsenal's court, particularly with the comment, it depends on them. Yeah. Secondly, another way I look at it is that might be someone that wants to stay, but he needs to see several things. We've seen already Alexis was frustrated with transfer dealings. He's clearly probably said, if anything, if I'm going to stay, I need to see some serious business in the transfer window. Maybe that's why, if we would believe reports and go upon what we've seen reported, true or not, and the Lacazette, you're seeing Arsenal be a bit more ambitious and go after a bit more creme de la creme, top tier sort of player. So that's that. Moving on from transfers, promise to be competitive, so that kind of goes into transfers, and for me that means a financial package. I mean, if I'm Alexis and I say that, I'll put myself in his shoes, that somewhat is, I'm prepared to stay, but I'm going to need something financial worth my while, and there's nothing wrong with that. Footballers should be doing that. And I also look at it as, oh, I almost lost my trail of thought there. I almost look at it somewhat as that's someone that's frustrated with how the club has been moving, and he's someone that wants to see some sort of change. Of course, on another hand, that just means someone that wants to leave. I do feel on one hand that Alexis is giving mixed signals to then leave. I've told you guys, if I was him, I would not be at Arsenal. My future would have been decided before the Confederations Cup. I still wouldn't be doing this nonsense. It makes no sense. There's many different ways to look at it. 1 minute he wants to stay, 1 minute he wants to go. We never know what he wants to do. On the other hand, he was part of the team that ultimately failed. Yes, he pulled his weight a lot more than others. 30 goals, I believe, 15 assists. But there was times when Alexis didn't stand up to be counted. And the table doesn't lie. We're fifth for a reason. Whether you're Jenkinson, who played a couple of games, or you're Alexis, who played near enough every game. We all played a part in this failure. And 75 points wasn't enough. So that ultimately where he is. Of course, the next contract he signs is significant for many reasons. He's in the best form of his career, arguably. He's at the peak ages. He's basically won everything. He hasn't won the Champions League, and he's not getting any younger. He's 29. Yes, you can point to Ribery and Robin, and they were managed well, and they're still playing. But these are his best years, and does he really want to waste them not knowing what the club is going to do? I do think, to a degree, him and his agent want to see the club's movements and what they're going to do. And I also believe that they are trying to get the best financial package, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, they hold all the aces, and if we were in that situation, I would as well. But on another hand, if anyone who wants to leave, just leave, because I don't want to go into the new season with the same nonsense. We went to start again. We've had a disastrous season. Who knows if we're going to win the league, if we're going to get relegated, if we're going to miss out on top four again, whatever. But regardless of what happens, of course the objective is to win the league like every other team. And stuff happens in the season and you have to react. But do you really want to go into the new season with the same nonsense, the same willy won't he, for all the contract nonsense, for all the players that are out of contract? I don't personally want to. I've told you guys already. Let's just say in the months coming up to January, we're having a wobble. He'll be a free agent, so he can talk to overseas clubs from January. Let's just say Juventus, for argument's sake, first one in my head. they come to it. We're Italian champions. We just got to the final of the Champions League last year. We didn't win it. We're trying to be competitive. We see you as the mantelpiece, to someone that could finally take us to that next level. Play with Higuain, Dybala, arguably the best back five in Europe, and a manager that's got a great system, and they're competitive. If they go and say that, go and confirm his deal in January to join in the summer, why is he going to care about Arsenal? Now, yes, I know you guys know Alexis is a model professional. He'll probably try his best, but you've also seen times when he wanted to leave, when he was laughing on the subs bench, when he wasn't putting in the runs where he should have, when he wasn't tracking back as much as he wanted to, especially around the Bayern Munich time. So if we take that into consideration and we think, say he agrees a move with a club overseas, why is he going to care what happens to Arsenal? I've told you guys this in a video before. If you're working at a company and you've got an offer from another company to start in a month's time, and you've accepted that, are you going to give your full 100% commitment and effort to the company you're at? No, you're not. Subconsciously, or whether you know it's not, it's going to go down because you know you're not going to be here. I don't want that. I don't want to go into the new season with the same crap. Like it just does not make sense. Like I said, his next move is crucial because now he's not getting any younger. He kind of needs to win things. He's not like the ages of Pogba and them ages where they're relatively young, like Welbs when he came to Arsenal. Different players, of course, but they didn't really have families and sort of things to think about. It was more themselves. So, like I said, guys, in conclusion, there's three ways to look at it. One, he actually wants to leave. Two, he actually wants to stay. And three, he wants to see some sort of movements before anything happens. He wants to see some dealings in the transfer market. He wants to see new hunger. He wants to obviously look after himself financially before he commits his future. And it does look like, personally, I think he might just be sold. If it was me, sell the guy if he doesn't want to be here. We cannot go into this nonsense. Like, this is suicide from a business point of view. Your best asset, Alexis Sanchez. I know I love the guy, but your best asset from a business point of view, this is suicide. Why would you let that just go for free? It doesn't make sense. And those fans saying it's not your money, it's not this, it's not that, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't make sense. If you really love your club and you really think about it logically, you wouldn't be saying let Alexis rot in the reserves, as some twat say, or run down his contract. You wouldn't. It makes no sense. It does not make sense. And to you, those of you still adamant of believing in that, I'd say if this was another player, let's just say, for instance, United, let's just say, I don't know, who could we say from United? De Gea's contract's running up. Would you still be saying the same thing if we put him and we swap Alexis and De Gea around? No, you wouldn't. Anyways, guys, Deluded Gooner, I'm signing out. Thank you for watching.